program, Finance and
This meeting is being
Entrepreneurship.
recorded.
Awesome. Yes, and it is being recorded. Thank you. And just to double check to make sure that I am correct in my session, this is for K-5 teachers, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. I have one for middle school, high school as well, and I could easily switch, so don't worry. But all right. So the first thing that I'm going to send in the chat a little pre-survey. So please feel free to fill that out. We just like to gauge teachers' understanding before and after they listen to one of our presentations, so that we can see how much you learn, and then we can adjust our presentations after that. So please feel free to click on that and fill it out. You're welcome to do that while I'm talking. That is totally fine with me. And I'll start out by introducing myself. My name is Christy Carlson. I am the Senior Manager of School Garden Programming at Green Our Planet. And I'm really excited to be here today because I love talking about financial literacy and how you can tie it into school gardens and hydroponic systems. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your Saturday morning with me. And so a little background about me. Before taking my position at Green Our Planet, I was a third grade teacher at Guilford Elementary School in Plainfield, Indiana for 3 years. And before that, I lived in Las Vegas. After graduating from Indiana University, my husband and I actually moved there from where we're from in Indiana. We're both rock climbers, so it was definitely a rock climber hotspot that we really wanted to check out. And I actually taught at Kalen Elementary School. Is anybody here from Kalen Elementary? I taught there for a year, and then I worked at Green Our Planet as a school garden coordinator, then moved into the program manager position. And a few years later, we moved back to Indiana, and that is where I live now. I live in Bloomington, Indiana with my husband and my 1-year-old, 1.5 actually, year-old little girl named Matilda. And we have a hobby farm, and we love things, all things outdoors. We love rock climbing. We love to mountain bike and just be outside. Obviously, we love gardening. And we are also beekeepers. So we've been beekeeping for about 3 years now. So if anybody ever wants to chat about beekeeping, that's not what this presentation is about. But if you want to, I would love to chat about that. But we're going to talk about financial literacy. And I wanted to say first, before I say anything about what Green Our Planet does in terms of financial literacy, is that we couldn't do any of this if it weren't for our financial institution partners. So I just want to include this in there so that you can see that we're not doing any of this alone that I'm talking about in terms of financial literacy. We have support, and we really appreciate that. So our agenda for today, I'll give you a little overview of Green Our Planet programs, who we actually are and what we do. And then we'll talk about financial literacy. We'll talk about farmers market lessons that we have and our actual financial literacy curriculum, which I will give you the link to so that you have it. And we'll also talk about student-run farmers markets. So if any of you are at schools with gardens and you're interested in running farmers markets, this will be a good session for you, especially if you're interested in integrating financial literacy standards and concepts into that. And if you don't have a garden, that's also okay. Don't worry about it, but you will probably want one after this session. So you can get a hold of me if you want one. So my objective is for you to leave the session ready to teach Green Our Planet financial literacy lessons in your classroom, and or host or participate in a student-run farmers market, or just be inspired to get a Green Our Planet program at your school. All right, and I'm just checking the chat really quickly. I think we're good. That was just Nathan. All right, so I'll start out with a little bit of a program overview, and I'll talk a little bit about what we do at Green Our Planet. So we're a nonprofit, and we run programs for outdoor gardens and hydroponics. We have a really big mission and a lot of heart at Green Our Planet. Our mission is essentially to bring STEM into schools in the way of real-life experiences. We know that children of the world will soon be taking care of our planet, so it's up to us to give teachers a way to teach them the importance of the environment. And we've also realized that financial literacy ties into that when it comes to farmers markets, and you can just do so much with a garden at your school. So that's why we exist. And our goal is to help teachers, to enable them. So to do so, we help run programming for outdoor gardens and indoor hydroponic systems at schools. And these gardens serve as living laboratories that inspire students to become the next generation of scientists, farmers, chefs, and entrepreneurs. So we actually help schools nationwide with their garden programs and act as a consulting service, and we have tons of resources, tips, and tricks for schools who have gardens at their school. We used to build gardens back before COVID, but we don't do that anymore. We don't build them anymore. We just do the programming part of it. But here's a little map of where we are and how we're growing. We're actually growing at an exponential rate. When I first started, Green Our Planet was just diving into areas outside of Las Vegas, like Mesquite and Pahrump. But now there's even a hydroponics program with a hydroponic system in the Arctic Circle. And it's amazing to see that so many schools in so many different areas are starting to jump on board with gardens and hydroponics. And with online teaching and the technology boom, Green Our Planet is continuing to reach further and further. Our programming is getting more and more streamlined online, where we're able to really help a lot of schools in a lot of different areas with our resources, expertise, and coaching that we offer to our schools. So you'll see on the left, it's really hard to see the blue dots are the hydroponics programs that we have across the United States. And then the map on the left, obviously that's Las Vegas, but I wanted to point out that the map on the left of the United States, that one, it's really hard to see. The blue dots kind of cover up the green dots, but I promise you there are also lots of outdoor garden programs that we help across the country. We actually just started doing that this year, but they kind of get covered up by hydroponics because our hydroponics is so big. But in Las Vegas, we also have tons and tons of schools who have had our programming before and who have worked with us. So they are marked on that map as well. And some of you may have schools that have our programming. So, but what we're here to talk about today is our, what we like to call Farmpreneur program, which is part of what we do with our schools that are that have our either our outdoor garden program or hydroponics program. So with our Farmpreneur program, students learn how to write a business plan, how to become an entrepreneur, budgeting, role of banks, marketing, customer service, cash handling. And those aren't actually things that you think about when you think about what you can do with the school garden. Like my mind automatically goes to conservation and science and things, but actually it's a really good way to include financial literacy in your lessons. So one of the biggest things that we do at Green Our Planet, my actually absolute favorite thing about Green Our Planet is our giant student farmers market. I have been to 2 markets, and both times it has literally brought tears to my eyes when watching these students run their own businesses and become passionate about what they're doing and using their marketing skills that they learned. I have a video that encapsulates it way better than I could describe. So I'm going to really quickly just optimize for video so that you all can hear and see. Hang on. Optimize. Okay, and then I'll move that. I know that's in the way. And I'll play this video for you because my words don't do it justice. It is better said by the kids. So if you would, if you cannot hear the video or see for some reason, or if things are wonky, and I'll move that box too, just come off of mute and let me know because I can't see your pictures now.
Okay, I can do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys did a good job. Okay, so they're $1.
Oh, this feels fantastic. I bought some brownie shoes. I love this.
Beet greens, everybody. Beet greens for only $3. $3 only at booth 13. Help support Star Academy at booth 13. $3 only.
We grew all of this in our garden, and we did all of these. We have a lot of cool stuff.
Can you give me back a 10 and you guys can keep the rest? I saw the fava beans. They look absolutely amazing. These kids are doing a great job and super excited to be able to come out and support them. Being in the food world, seeing kids interested in growing their own produce and enjoying what they eat really kind of is uplifting and inspiring to me as a chef.
Would you guys like some hair? We're learning about selling and how to give, how to do money, basically.
Or basically marketing.
Like some fresh radishes.
And advertising.
Like some fresh radishes. Yeah, what?
You guys have grown?
Yeah.
They're freshly grown. Guaranteed.
Leave another tip, another one. To think that all of our precious plants from our school are making other people's dinners and making them happier and bringing them food, it's amazing. What we sold at our booth was we sold hydroponic lettuce and we also sold plants from our garden. Organic foods for sale, $2 each bag of cilantro, mustard, funnel. And I learned that the more you work together as a team, the more you can make and the more you can provide from it.
Yes, I did quite enjoy it. It's probably just the accomplishment you feel after growing these things for 6 months and then you finally selling them and people actually enjoying the product that you create.
All right, and let me really quickly pop back over to our presentation and make sure that I can see you all again. But yes, the farmers market is just so much fun, and I saw some of you notice that. Yes, it was that one was downtown Summerlin. The one we have upcoming is also in downtown Summerlin. That's typically where we have our markets for the spring, and in the fall, which is usually in October, we have them. Oh, now I'm forgetting what the name of it is, but it's the city center. It's kind of like it's in a semicircle. I forget what it's called for some reason. And my excuse is that I don't live in Las Vegas anymore. But yes, downtown Summerlin, you were correct. Did anybody see students from their school, or maybe even yourself, or maybe have been to a farmer's market before? You can come off of mute or put it in the chat. I'm just curious. And yes, the garden gnome, so cute. Awesome. Yeah, I figured some of you may have been to the farmers market or have a Green Our Planet program, and you may actually see yourself in the. Okay, a couple of people are saying yes, they've been to the farmers market. Yeah. Yeah, they are typically held on weekdays. They are, yes, but don't worry, if schools can't do the big farmers market, you can totally do it at your own school. But I wanted to show you that we do have our spring market coming up April 21st. It's next week, 9:30 to 1. I know that if you're not, bringing students to the market, you are teaching that day. But if you want to let any of your friends know, I'll give you this link. It's actually to a Facebook invite that you can take a look at. I will actually just link this whole PowerPoint for you so that you can have this and the flyer that's on here. But yeah, downtown Summerlin on April 21st. It's actually yeah, if you want to check the 21st off, you totally should. Some teachers actually, before they actually commit to going to the market and bringing students, like some teachers actually have done that. They will take the day off to like go to the market to see what it's like so that they can participate in our next one. So that's actually, Nikki, that's not a bad idea. You totally could. And I'm not saying I'm encouraging you to to skip work, but it would be for work. You'd be doing your research about a potential field trip. So yes, I will give you the link to this PowerPoint so that you have the Facebook invite there. But yes, right now for the spring market, it'll be more than 600 students. And I believe our number right now is 58 schools will attend the market. And they typically earn on average, I actually think this is a low average now, $350 per school, which all of it is invested back into their own school for their own program. So we don't take any of that profit. We give it all back to the schools after it's counted and whatnot. But I believe that 350 is now a little bit more, probably because of inflation. But but they do make quite a bit of money at the farmers market. These students do. And the markets are not the only culmination of our efforts to provide local students the opportunity to learn STEM, nutrition, and entrepreneurship, but also provide healthy fruits and vegetables to the students' parents and the local communities around. So it's not really just selling things and making a profit. It's like actually getting fresh fruits and veggies that are healthy out to the community, which is in itself a thing that I could do an entire presentation on, but this one's about financial literacy. But yes, it's a great community event. And students as entrepreneurs, by the way, can you see my screen? Okay, you see where it says students as entrepreneurs. Okay, for some reason I couldn't tell if I was still showing my screen. A teacher reported that tying the market to their experience of writing their business plans helps them understand the value of marketing, presentation, pricing, and handling money responsibly. The students had a more global view of how the market worked and how customer service impacted the success of our sales. And this particular teacher participated in the lessons that I'm about to show you. And then don't we all love student quotes? The student said, I didn't think we'd make that much money, but we had like a case full, so I'm very happy. That was one of the best days I've ever had, and it was really fun. And that was a student from Bracken Elementary School a while back. That was actually a quote from one of our older videos. But the students really do enjoy the day. They love feeling ownership of what they're selling, and that they are true entrepreneurs, because they really are. I mean, they are for real selling things to the public. So it's just a really cool experience for the students, and we make it really fun. We cheer for them after they get off the bus and as they're setting up. We make it super, super exciting, and so it's an experience of a lifetime for these kids. So now I'm going to shift gears and talk with you about farmers market lessons and our financial literacy curriculum. And I'm actually going to go to the next slide so I can explain this to you. But we have we have two versions of our lessons that can be used to teach your students how to become an entrepreneur. So the first version, what you see in red and purple on the left, appears in our elementary school outdoor garden and hydroponics curricula. If you are a part of our outdoor garden or hydroponics program, Garden Connect, you'll have access to these. These lessons are aligned to the next generation science standards and approach starting a business from an engineering perspective, or in other words, how to solve a design problem. These are lessons that teachers have typically used in their classrooms to teach these concepts to get ready for participating or hosting a farmers market. So these are included in our outdoor garden STEM curriculum and hydroponics STEM curriculum, the ones you see on the left. And those are 5th grade lessons. So the second version in green is the financial literacy curriculum, which are standalone lessons that can be used with your school garden, hydroponic system, and these are also aligned to Nevada Academic Content Standards for social studies. So social studies, financial literacy specifically, as well as to the Council for Economic Education, National Financial Literacy Standards. I had to write that down. I did not, I could never get that straight without writing it down. I will give everyone access to these today, regardless of whether or not you participate in our programming. I'll give you access to the financial literacy lessons so that you can use those, even if you're not part of our program. I do want you to have the financial literacy lessons because I feel like it's really important. So, and you can dive into it, and then maybe you'll want to do our programming in the future. So, but I'll talk with you first about what you'll see if you're part of our program and you have our outdoor garden curriculum or our hydroponics curriculum. And both of them, 5th graders are tasked to think about the outdoor garden or commercial hydroponic system in terms that extend past the classroom. And in these lessons, that means considering how to take the produce from the garden or hydroponic system and turn it into a business. So there are 2 lessons in the outdoor garden curriculum that prepare students for hosting or attending a farmer's market. The first lesson, number 9, is geared to preparing students for starting their business. In it, they learn the basics of how to start their own business, explore entrepreneurship, write a business plan, explore how to make a profit, and how to set prices for profit. The second lesson, number 10, this one prepares students for hosting or attending a farmer's market. In it, the students learn about advertising techniques, marketing, just like that student say, basically marketing, understanding their product and customer, as well as create an advertisement for their products. The materials list for all of these lessons is pretty minimum. You really just need the lesson plans, the business plan template, which comes with the curriculum, science notebooks, pencils, and a class Chromebook to watch videos, or you can project them as well. The only other materials that you may need would be any like sign making materials, and the students can decide what they use for that during the advertising lessons. And then other things are maybe just things you have around your classroom, like if you want to use, like if you have a math curriculum and it comes with fake money, you could use that for practice and whatnot. So for in our hydroponics curriculum, there are 2 lessons that include financial literacy or farmers market details in them. So you'll see lesson number 3, commercial hydroponics, covers how to grow large quantities of food, and lesson number 4, I wanted to make sure I had the right one on there, introduces the students to urban agriculture and hydroponic business. In the lesson, the students learn about the types of food that are grown by hydroponic businesses, the benefits of hydroponic farms, and compare hydroponic farms to traditional soil-based farms. I just saw a question in the chat for the actual farmers market. Do you give each school suggested pricing for selling so the schools aren't competing against each other for purchases? So that's a really good question. And we actually recommend that that each school kind of comes up with their prices, but then if you have your price board on a whiteboard, you can easily change your prices based on what you're seeing around the market. It's kind of a little strategy that, yeah, we definitely want them to make a lot of money. And if they're like selling out really fast, sometimes the students will up their prices. And that's really cool because that's kind of a concept, like a business concept anyway, you know? So, so I typically recommend adjusting prices and finding a sweet spot. But yes, it can be a pretty competitive with the schools that have been there for years and years and kind of know what to expect. You'd be surprised. Like these kids know what they're doing. They really do. Okay, I'm going to keep going on here for following those lessons in the hydroponics curriculum. This is lesson number 5, which covers the same material as the outdoor garden curriculum and is where students will write their business plan. Lesson number 6, planting plan, can really help students prepare to go to the market, as it asks them to create a planting plan for a fictional business that will be selling lettuce to a restaurant. So that is those. Oh, and sorry, I forgot one, lesson 10, which also covers the same material, advertising and marketing, as in the outdoor garden curriculum. And finally, lesson 11, students have an opportunity to role play different jobs they would be carrying out at the farmer's market. And again, the materials list is pretty minimum for these lessons, and it typically isn't anything that's too difficult to find just in your general classroom. I always like to mention, no matter what, to teachers anywhere, that we have lots and lots of video lessons that go along with our curriculum on our virtual academy, which as of right now is free to anyone outside of our programming, but I will say that could change in the future. So we have our video library is always growing. So I recommend, if you use any sort of Green Our Planet curriculum, go to the virtual academy. Just if you go to greenourplanet.org and go to programs, you can easily find it there. And search through those videos. They're really, I mean, we have a whole film team that creates these, so they're really great videos that you can use in your classroom. And we currently have, I believe that there are 2 farmers market lessons from the outdoor garden and hydroponics curricula on Canvas for CCSD teachers. Once you log in, if you go to the Commons and search Green Our Planet, then select 5th grade lessons, you'll be able to find them there. So I believe any CCSD teacher could access that. And now I'm going to finally dive into our financial literacy curriculum that is specifically focused on financial literacy concepts and have those social studies standards. These lessons are designed for 3rd through 5th. We also have 6th through 8th and 9th through 12th grade lessons, but we're just going to talk about the elementary level today. I also want to note that these grade levels are assigned because of the standards that are tied to them, but it does not mean that you can't use these if you're not a 3 through 5 teacher. And you could take these and use parts of them. You could take these and, you know, tweak it to your grade level if you're not a 3 through 5 teacher. It's really all about how you want to use it in your classroom. So these lessons cover the same topics as the lessons I just spoke about in our outdoor garden curriculum and our hydroponics curriculum. However, because they are aligned to the Nevada Academic Content Standards for Social Studies, specifically financial literacy, as well as the Council for Economic Education National Financial Literacy Standards, they dive deeper into financial literacy concepts. So, and also just note the materials lists are also pretty minimal for these lessons, so you don't really need to expect to go out and gather a bunch of different resources. In the 3rd grade through 5th grade financial literacy curriculum, there are 4 lessons. I am also going to really quickly open up the link of what I'm going to actually send to you in the chat as well. This is the one I'm giving you access to, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when you open up that link. So when you open up that link that I pasted in the chat, you'll see elementary, high school, and middle school. So for this presentation, I'm going to select elementary school, and then you'll see 3 different folders: handouts, lesson plans, and PowerPoint. So these are all resources you can use to help you teach the lessons. Handouts will have some like the business plans, which we'll look at, and some things that you'll hand out to your students. Lesson plans are PDFs of the actual lessons that tell you as a teacher what to do. I mean, you know what a lesson plan is. And then we also have PowerPoints attached to these. So that can help you guide your teaching in the lesson. And just so you know, and because some of the language might come up in the lessons that if you know this, it'll make sense. But we used to have financial institution volunteers teach these lessons to schools. We actually don't do the program that way anymore. It just didn't work out anymore. It had to do with funding and whatnot. But if you see any language that talks about a financial institution volunteer, that's because we used to do it that way. But this is designed where you can totally, as a teacher, teach these lessons with your class. So this is kind of what they look like. Like I said, there are 4 lessons. And in the first lesson, lesson 1, part 1, students are introduced to the financial literacy concepts of saving, borrowing, and wants versus needs. They also discuss entrepreneurship and cover how to write a business plan, like you said, or like you saw in the handouts. There was that business plan there. In the second lesson, lesson 1, part 2, students work in small groups to write business plans. Special attention is paid to the understanding of startup costs, cost per unit, and price per unit. Once business plans are complete, the teacher will select one to use for the farmers market business. And then in the third lesson, lesson 2, part 1, students learn about customer service and different methods of payment, such as cash, credit, and debit. Then they practice their customer service skills, as well as calculating purchases and accepting payment through mock farmers market scenarios that they are asked to act out. And finally, they discuss how they would like to market their business and what kinds of signs they would like to make. And the fourth and final lesson, lesson 2, part 2, is a culmination of their learning. It is split into 3 parts: preparing the week before the market, action items to do the day of the market, and a debrief of the experience after the market. Hosting or participating in a farmer's market allows students a chance to put their business plan into action and have a real world experience of what it's like to be an entrepreneur. And I just want to mention as well that you don't have to go to the Green Our Planet Giant Student Farmers Market to put this into action. You can 100% have a smaller farmers market at your school. I actually recommend doing that before you even do the Giant Student Farmers Market, because that is just as much of a wonderful thing as the Giant Student Farmers Market. And it's also super cool if you do that, because you are sharing your produce that you're growing from hydroponics or your outdoor garden with your school community that way. So I just want to say you don't have to do the Giant Student Farmers Market. So I want to take a moment just to touch base on that business plan. There are 2 documents, and they're also on Canvas: the teacher resource tool and the student business plan. The teacher resource tool has some examples in it to help you through a few of the sections. And when you're completing the business plan, you'll download the student version so that the students obviously work on the student version. So that is in the handouts folder that I showed you, and you all have the link to that. And I will also give you the link to this PowerPoint too. Okay, so I now want to talk about student-run farmers markets just in general, and kind of give some tips and tricks, or some things that we've learned from the schools that we've worked with that help you if you want to do this at your school, or if you want to do the Giant Student Farmers Market. So we have, if you're part of our programming, our outdoor garden programming or our hydroponics programming, we have a lot of different resources that give you ideas of how to do things like this, and how to prepare and things like that. But this is one of our resources. It gives suggestions of doing student-run farmers markets, like an in-person farmers market where you literally set up a table, maybe after school, and people can come to the market, or maybe during like a after-school STEM night or something like that. Maybe a good time to do that. Drive-through farmers market is another thing that we have seen schools be successful with in the drop-off pickup area. You could have it set up right there after school or even before school if you wanted to do that. And you could even do it as simple as having like a tip jar or a donation jar and giving it away, but asking for donations. That's a really good like intro way and like a way to do this that it wouldn't have to be where you have to get you have to count a whole bunch of money and give change and whatnot. Vanessa had a really good question in the chat. How difficult is it to be licensed for this? That is a really good question. So for the Giant Student Farmers Market, all of our schools have to get their Nevada Department of Agriculture Producer Certificate. And we at Green Our Planet are very good friends with our people over at Nevada Department of Agriculture. So they, it's pretty simple. You fill out a little form of what you're growing in your garden or your hydroponic system and what you'll be selling. And they sometimes will come over and like do an inspection of your garden or your hydroponic system and look at it, and then they will actually give you a certificate. We have never had a school that did not get a certificate. They are very aware of the Giant Student Farmers Market. They support it all the way, but we do have our schools follow the rules and get a producer certificate for that. So you have to get that for the Giant Student Farmers Market, but you do not have to get a producer certificate if you're just doing farmers markets at your school. So that's what the Department of Agriculture have told us, that you don't need to worry about it if it's just at your school. But if you go to the Giant Student Farmers Market, that's when you would need to get the producer certificate. And if you are part of Green Our Planet programming, we keep track of it. We make sure that you have them. We are really, really good about checking in to make sure all of our schools are doing that, so that nobody last minute can't sell anything at the market because they don't have a certificate or something like that. So we have people on staff. If you're going to the market, you probably heard from Gabby, who is awesome and keeps track of all of those things. So, and then you could also do a mail-in farmers market where you create like a catalog and parents can come pick up things and do a money slip. That's actually a couple of schools did that, like during COVID when it was harder, when it was like you wouldn't really want to do an in-person one. So that's another really good idea. So so items to sell. A lot of our schools, actually probably all of them, are going to be selling crafts along with their produce. Crafts sell really well at the market. I myself still have magnets on my refrigerator from farmers market, probably from 2017 or 2018. So crafts sell really well. A lot of schools get really creative. The picture that you see here, one of the schools made soap. Magnets are really popular. And so you don't only have to sell produce. You can also do crafts, get your art teacher involved. It's really fun. Upcycled crafts are really cool. Kind of along the same train as conservation and whatnot. Here's some more craft ideas. Spice, herb, and tea packets are something that some of our schools have done, which is really cool. Also mixed fruit and veggie bags that you could do. Let's see what else is on here. Homemade cosmetics, some of our schools have done. Garden related crafts like bird houses. You can make bugs using clothespins and pom-poms. Seed art, one of our high schools does seed art. It's really beautiful. They are all magnets. I'm telling you, magnets. they are a hit. Everybody needs them. Everybody uses them. Everybody appreciates them. I buy the magnets. So if you have magnets, I will probably buy them from you at the Giant Student Farmers Market. But also like cards and things. And schools have been really, really creative with this. Okay, so one thing that we really suggest is doing a practice run and making sure that you're prepared, whether you're doing the Giant Student Farmers Market or you're doing a farmers market at your school. Have a practice run with your students, know what's ready to be harvested and the best way to store it as well. we have some videos within our virtual academy that I was talking about earlier that actually explain a lot of the things like how to harvest and store things for the market. I believe I don't remember the exact names of the videos, but I know that we have videos for that. So if you're wondering about that, you can check out those videos. You can prepare bags or string for grouping produce beforehand. As much prep as you can do beforehand, the better. Some suggestions. There is such thing as too many cooks in the kitchen. Students will be eager to help. That is a tip I got from one of our dear teachers who does farmers markets all the time. Her name's Megan Fiesel. She says that exactly. There is such thing as too many cooks in the kitchen. Make a schedule of helpers, so scheduling them to do a market and only having a few kiddos out there at once is good. That means you'll have lots of markets and and it'll be fun and a little bit better with wrangling chaos. Contact parents of those helpers so that they know their child may arrive home late. That one is an obvious one, but that's one that I also hear from Megan Fiesel, one of our dear teachers, that she always mentions, because it's something that you might not always think about. But yeah, just make sure you do that. Week before checklist, you check the garden, determine what's ready to harvest, decide prices, which, like I said, you can use a whiteboard so you can change those, make your signage, decorations, harvest any seeds and package those, prepare your packaging, find everything with wheels and bring it to the storage room. It's especially for the giant student farmers markets, coolers with wheels and wagons are great. Get out your harvesting tools, package the non-food items, prep your money box, which you can ask your front desk of your school about that. Prep paperwork folder, collect pens and paper, communicate with students and parents. That one is an obvious one. And then a couple other things like meeting in the garden, harvesting the fresh produce. This is the day of, by the way. You want to, if you can, you want to harvest the day of for your market. Pack and group fresh items, store in a cooler. Like I said, rolling coolers are great. Make sure students have all items that they need, like water, and when you're out there selling something and you're talking, you get dehydrated. And bring an emergency backpack. I believe that when I taught in CCSD, we had one of those that we brought on field trips. So yes, bring that as well. And yeah, that is, I know I went really fast through all of that, but we were running out of time a little bit. 1:25 my time is when we're stopping. I'm on Eastern, by the way, I'm in Indiana, but I have a post survey for you to fill out. This is just, we did the pre-survey, now this is the post survey that I welcome you to fill out now. And we have a couple minutes if you have any questions. I'm also going to put my email address up there, and I will send you the link to the slides that I presented today. Yes, please feel free to reach out to me, whether you're part of our programming or not, with any questions that you have, or maybe you're a school that doesn't have Green Our Planet programming and you want it, reach out to me. I can tell you what the options are and what you could do for your school. That was pretty good on timing. I'm checking the chat if you have any questions. Feel free to also come off of mute.
All right. Well, someone just already answered the waiting for the next session. Thank you so much, Christy. That was absolutely amazing. I learned a bunch. Okay,
yay,
everybody. No, it was great seeing the kids. Everyone, I have placed the session survey in chat for NDE. Please complete the survey. And remember that the next session starts at 10:35. The next session in this room will be with Christy again, with Farmpreneur programs, grades 6 through 12.
Yeah.
Yes, grades 6 through 12.
And I'll just say, if you are like, if it's too many surveys, fill out the fill out the one that Nathan sent. It sounds like that was really important. So fill that one out.
It just sounds like that one's important. Yes, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Like,
Thank you. And thanks, Jana. I'm glad you enjoyed the materials.
let me switch here.
Thank you so much.
I'm trying to figure out what happened to the recording. 1 second.
Record. Press.